So welcome to R.K Medicos. In this section we are going to discuss about the general physiology part 6, and general physiology part 6 inside it we are going to discuss about the cellular fluids. And cellular fluids is, what is cellular fluid? Basically the amount of fluid which is present inside our cell, in between the cell and outside the cell, or just outside the RBCs. These all are the different types of volume. So the cellular fluids are basically the main content of cellular fluids. What are the fluid present inside the cell? Basically they are the components or the different constituents of the water. So we can see here, water is the major component of our body weight. And we are going to see, suppose that any person, their body weight is 70 kg, any normal person having 70 kg is normal weight, we are supposing. And what is the main body weight composition here? Water. Already told you, the main body composition is composed of the body, our mainly body composed of the water. How many weight of the body is composed of water? We are going to see the 60% of our body weight. What is our body weight? Is it out of that 60% of that body weight is constituted of water? It means you are in suppose that you are 70 kg person, it means your 60 kg will be like 42 liters. It means the 60% of the body weight is the equal to the body water. What is the total body water is inside in your body? That is 42 liter of the water is present inside your body. And what is this water is called as? What is the water which is present inside our body? That is called as total body water. It's so simple. You can just imagine, suppose that any person in front of you is standing here, and this person is having total body weight. Total body weight, I'm talking about weight, that is 70 kg. And I told you it is the normal value of his weight. And now I'm going to tell you the water content of his body is constituted of 60% of his body weight. 60% means basically 42 liters. Now you tell me, what is the total body water present inside this person? Suppose that in this person, what is the total body water? The total body water is basically 42 liter. Total body, we are talking about total body water. Now I'm going to tell, suppose that this is the cell and the cell is having two spaces, don't know, then you can see inside the cell the space is called as intracellular space, outside the cell is called as extracellular space. And what the fluid is present inside this intracellular space is called as intracellular fluid, intracellular fluid. And what the fluid present outside the cell is called as extracellular fluid. So this fluid is called as extracellular fluid. Now you tell me, I already told you the total body water is 42 liter. It means what the fluid extracellular, what the fluid intracellular, these all are combinedly called as total body water. It is true. And the total body water is 42 liters. Okay, 42 liters. It means the extracellular body water, the intracellular body water, they combinedly called as the total body water. It means suppose that inside the cell, all the body cells, there is a two-third of all these 42 liters is present inside the cell, and outside the cell is present 1/3 of this. Now you think, what is the 2/3 of 42? That is the 28. Yeah, that is the 28 liter. It means the inside the cell 28 liter of water is present. Then what is the amount of water which is present in extracellular fluid or the extracellular space? What is the amount of fluid present inside it? That is the 14 liter. I think it's correct. Hope it will be clear for you. What is the total body water or the total body weight is 70 kg, and the 60% of it is, now everything. I'm not going to tell. I'm not going to repeat everything. So you can see here, in any male person, the total body weight is, or the body weight is contributed mainly by the water, and the 60% of is 42 liter total body water. That is called a total body water. Now we are going to see the total body water is basically we are going to see in a special age categories. Before age categories we are going to see on the basis of gender either male or either female. So we can see in male or in female. This is the first category here. In first category in the male, the 60% of body weight, the 60% of body weight is constitutes of water. Suppose that the 70 kg person is having 60 kg, 60% of their body weight is constitutes of water. It means again, what is it? 40, you can tell me 42 liters. Now same, in females it is somehow decreased. In females it is somehow decreased. What is decreased in female? In female the total body water is decreased. In male it is 60% of the total body weight. What is the total body weight is supposed at 70 kg. Same here. In female, you know, in female there is a more fat on the body. More fat deposition on the body. This deposited fat on our body is going to in I said like this, they repel the water. It means what? The body fats are more in female. It means the more fat will be repelling the more water. It means the water is going to be decreased in our body. Suppose that one is logic here. Now you can say in the male person there is 60% of the total body weight the water is constitutes, and in female person 50% of the total body weight is constituents of the water. It's same. 50% means that is 35 liter. It's happened on the gender basis. So these are the questions. It's more important. Why in female they are the less amount of total body water? That is due to the fat is the more amount of fat in the female body, and you know it. Next point we can see on the basis of the age classification. Suppose that the some small children or in the adult person. In adult person it varies. Maybe the male or female it varies on their size, varies on their weight. But in the children, the constituents of total body water, or we can say like this, the cellular fluid is 75% of the body weight. It means suppose that this child is 70 kg. It means what is the 75% of it? You can imagine it's more than, we can see like this, 35 plus 17.5. It will be, we can see here, we can see it will be the 52.5 liter. You can imagine 52.5 liter is water. Why we are calculating this? In children's there is a total body weight. What is the body weight is it? Of this body weight 75% of is constituents of water. It means these childs are having more water in his body, and these water are going to suppose that lose, or these water are going to exit out from the body. These water are going to become loss from the body. So then what happened to this child? These childs are more prone or more chances to loses the water very fast because they are having lot of water in his body. That's why the child are more prone for the dehydration. The child are going to loss of more water very fastly because there is a lot of water inside his body. So the childs are more prone for dehydration because of there is a lot of fluids inside their body. Lot of total body fluids inside his body. So next we are going to see the components of total body water. What are the main components or the different components of total body water? I already told you the total body water. Suppose that the total body weight of the patient is 70 kg. It means the body water is 42 liters. Out of 42, I already told you. Here is the extracellular fluid and intracellular fluid. Now you tell me extracellular fluid, what is the constituents of water? That is 28 liter. I already told you. You can see also here intracellular fluid, that is 2/3. 2/3 means how many liter? That is 28. And extracellular fluid, the constituents of 1/3, it means they are 14 liter. So we can see here the extracellular fluid is further divided into two parts: interstitial fluid volume and plasma volume. These are the two volumes which are regulated inside the extracellular fluid. What is it? Intracellular fluid will be the 28, extracellular will be the 14 liter. Now you tell me. You can also see here the intracellular 2/3, extracellular 1/3, that is 28, and this one is 14 liter. Now we can see in this picture, suppose that this is the inside cell, the intracellular structure here, and that is intracellular fluid. What the fluid is present outside the cell is called as extracellular fluid. These all fluids are extracellular fluids. Now I am going to comparison between two cells. You can see here what I am going to. This is the cell number 1 and this is the cell number 2. In between these two cells, what the fluid is present is called as interstitial fluid volume or the interstitial fluid volume. Simple. And suppose that here RBCs, blood vessels, are present, and here RBCs are present. And outside the RBCs, what blood volumes are present, that one is called as plasma volume. And these all are extracellular volume. What is here present? These all are extracellular fluid. So it's so simple. Just imagine it. Now you are going to see. Now you know about the interstitial fluid volume, about the plasma volume. They are outside the RBCs. The volume is present, that is plasma volume. And now you are going to see the measurement of total body water. According to scientists, they are going to measure. How we are going to measure we are going for the measurement of the total body water. What is the amount of water inside our body is present in extracellular, intracellular, interstitial or plasma volume. These all are calculated in different way. So we are going to see here some scientists are introducing the different terms for their calculation, and we can see what is the name of that scientist. That is Steward and Hamilton, two scientists. That's why the method is called as steward-hamilton method. Okay, and they proposed in method, that method name is indicator dilution method. What is the indicator dilution method? It is the measuring of body fluids volume. What is the water, what is the fluid or water present inside our body in the volume, that is called as the simple dilution method. And which dilution? Indicator dilution method. We are going to indicate here what is the amount of body fluids is present in our body. And we can see here these are the volumes we are going to calculate here by the different indicators. What are the indicators is present in our body? We can see this is the total body water. The extracellular, intracellular, interstitial, plasma, these all body fluids. The total body water is calculated by the two ways, by the deuterium and tritium. These are the two indicators of the total body water. Now we are going to see extracellular fluid. Now you know extracellular fluid, there are two things are included: interstitial fluid or plasma volume. But we are going to see only extracellular fluid. Suppose that this is the cell, and what is the space present outside it? Extracellular space. And what is the fluid present in that area? That is called as extracellular fluid. So these are the extracellular fluid, and these are calculated by the different, or the indicator of this calculation is inulin, sucrose, mannitol or sodium thiosulfate. These are the four indicators of the measurement of extracellular fluid. Now we are going to see next point. This inulin is also used to measurement of the what is the fluid is present in the GFR, glomerular filtration. We are going to discuss this in renal physiology basically. So for now I am going to leave it. So don't worry about it. Okay, what is inulin? What we are going to measure in GFR? In GFR, we are going to measure basically what is the amount of fluid is going to filtered in that area, in the glomerular part of our nephron. So we are going to discuss in renal physiology, not now. So don't worry about it. Next volume is plasma volume. How the plasma volume is gets calculated? Now you tell me. Outside the RBCs, everyone is plasma volume. In plasma, what is present? Which fluid something is present? Yeah, that is the protein. And what is the name of that protein which is present outside the plasma volume? That is the albumin protein. It's must to memorize this protein. That is albumin protein which is present inside the plasma volume. And how we are going to calculate it? We are going to attach with the radio labeled terms used, that is albumin. And next one is Evans blue dye is also used for the indicator of this plasma volume. So these are the different methods that is used for the indicator of this total body water calculation or the measurement. So we are going to see now next point, what is it inside this topic, that is the direct method of measurement. How we are going to measure these volumes directly. What we discuss, plasma fluid volumes or the body water is going to measure directly. We are going to measure directly. The indicators are not available for them. Direct method are only used for that, for which we are not going to calculate anything. The indicators are not used for them. Indicators means what? You can see here the total body water, the extracellular fluid and plasma volume. These all are calculated by the indicator. For them indicator are present. But for some volumes measurement there is no any indicator. So how we are going to calculate them? We are going to calculate them directly by the some methods. What is the method is it? That is called as basically indirect method of measurement. And in these two volumes are calculated with the indirect measurement, that is intracellular fluid or interstitial fluid. Now you have to learn something. You can see here the total body water is composition of two things, extracellular and intracellular. Already told you. It is true, extracellular fluid and intracellular fluid. Now you can imagine the intracellular fluid which is present inside the cell is the minus of total body water, either extracellular either intracellular, minus extracellular. Yeah, it is true. Next, extracellular fluid. Extracellular fluid is composition of something, that is plasma volume and interstitial fluid. Yeah, it is also true. Next, interstitial fluid. Interstitial fluid is calculated by the minus of extracellular fluid and plasma volume. Yeah, it's also true. These all four calculations are true. So now we have to calculate these two fluid calculation. We can see here indirectly. Now imagine intracellular fluid means inside the cell fluid. So we are going to minus from the total body water minus extracellular fluid. Interstitial fluid, how we are going to calculate? From the extracellular fluid minus plasma volume. It's so simple. So these are calculated indirectly. Hope you like or enjoy it. Next section we are going to discuss it about the amount of indicator, how we are going to measure the amount of it, their measurement. We can see the amount of indicator is known here. There is some formula. These are the basically this chapter is based on the some numerical problems or the numerical concept in this chapter. You can read also in the physiology different author books. It's so easy. So they are not coming in the several exams, but these are also important topic for the now in MCI or the many different topics we are discussed later for now. But for now you can see here the amount of indicator is indicating something, that is the concentration into volume. For what is the concentration? For what concentration? That is the concentration of indicator here. And volume of fluid, what is the amount of fluid is present in that cell is called as the volume of fluid, is calculated the amount of indicator, what the amount of indicator is used. So we can also calculate here. Now suppose that you want to calculate the volume, what is the amount of volume is required here, that the amount of, suppose that you injected something inside the body of patient and the amount is somehow the, suppose that 500 ml is injected and 200 ml is excreted, it means 300 ml is present inside the body, and they divided by the concentration of indicator, what the indicator is used is going to be divided by them, and we calculate the value of the volume. So this is the formula. All values are given there. When it's come in the numerical form, you can just put and got your answer. So it's very easy. Next section we are going to discuss in this, that is Darrow-Yannette diagram. What is it? Basically this diagram is based on the extracellular and intracellular fluid compartment. Now you can imagine here in this picture, I told you, suppose that this is the intracellular compartment, and this all region outside the cell, wait, this all region is extracellular compartment. Now I'm going to ask you, tell me something. Fluid means not only fluids are present either intracellular compartment or extracellular compartment. Inside the cell, in intracellular fluids, some ions are also present. That one is called as electrolytes. Basically, there some electrolytes are also present inside the cell, and some electrolytes is also present outside the cell. And you know from the previous topic, I already told you, some electrolytes is present outside the cell in the dominant manner, and some electrolytes are also present outside the cell in the dominant manner. Now you tell me, which cation means positive charged elements, is present inside the cell in higher amount? Of course it is potassium. What is the positive or cation ions or the electrolytes is present outside the cell? That is sodium. You know from the fifth part of the general physiology. Now we are going to say second, which anion is more inside the intracellular fluid? We can also see here, there is written, see here, this is the extracellular fluid and this is the intracellular fluid. What is the positive charge or cation? Positively charged ion or the cation is present in the extracellular fluid is sodium. Intracellular fluid is potassium and magnesium. Now told me, what are the negative charges element or the negative charges ion or the anion? They are also called as anion. Negative charges basically element are called as anion. Is present extracellular fluid, that is chloride in extracellular fluid outside, and what is present inside, that is phosphate. Now you tell me, in extracellular compartment, this one, in extracellular compartment, two elements are present, that is sodium and chloride, and combinedly these are called as common salt. And common salt, you know, that is table salt, that is NaCl. These are present where? Extracellular fluid compartment. Now intracellular fluid compartment, what is present? That is potassium, magnesium and phosphate, PO42. These all are in intracellular fluid. So these are the elements which are dominating in the intracellular compartment or either extracellular compartment. And what are the cations, anions is present in extracellular, intracellular, you have to learn it. So it's so easy, because you know fifth part of the physiology, there is already mentioned which cation, where their amount will be higher, where their amount will be lower. And now you can also see what is the good conductor of electricity. Good conductor of electricity, basically there is a cation and anion, both are present. So you can see here in the extracellular fluid, and the sodium chloride, the common salt, is a good conductor of water because there is a positive and negative charges and ions are present here. Now we are going to see Darrow-Yannette diagram. These are the diagrams and it is based on this diagram. Basically you can see here, this is the example I'm taking here. Suppose that this is the intracellular compartment, intracellular fluid, and this is the extracellular fluid. Now you tell me, intracellular fluid, you know, they carry 2/3 of total volume of water, and this extracellular fluid carries 1/3. It means, of course, the intracellular fluid compartment will be bigger and extracellular compartment will be smaller. So you can see intracellular will be bigger and extracellular will be smaller. Now in this section, in this is x-axis and this one is y-axis. You can just imagine x-axis and y-axis. On x-axis and y-axis we are going to take some resolutions. On y-axis we are going to see osmolarity. Now what is osmolarity? Osmolarity is basically, in our simple words, this is the container. Inside the container some solutions are present. Solution means something, the fluid with solute particles. The fluid with solute particles. Suppose that the water is mixed with something. It means the fluid with solute particles are commonly called as solution, and this whole compartment is called as osmolarity of that solution. Osmolarity of that solution. It depends on the solute particles, what the solute particles is present inside these liquids. You can also see here, this is the here osmolarity, the concentration of solution. What the concentration of solution is expressed in the total number of solute particles per liter. What is the amount of liquid is per liter the solute particles are present inside these liquids. That is the osmolarity. Now you can tell me, when the osmolarity is increased, it means the liquid is going to more concentrated, because inside the liquid more solute particles are present if the osmolarity is increased. If the osmolarity increased, it means more solute particles are increased. It means more solute particles means more concentration of these liquids, and concentrated, they gets more concentrated, highly concentrated. Their concentration leads to the cell gets in the, we can say like this, loss of water here, because there is a concentration of amount leads to the loss of water. We can see later, leave it for now. In next section everything is mentioned there. Now you see, in this section we are going to discuss basically 4 terms, and on the basis of these 4 terms we discuss everything. First term is it, the Darrow-Yannet diagram is basically based on this extracellular intracellular compartment. I already showed you x-axis and y-axis. The relative volume of fluid is according to the osmolarity on the y-axis and the volume of fluid on the x-axis. Now we are going to see the volume changes in the any person's body. In any person body, the cell is having 2 types of changes. Either change in extracellular fluid outside the cell, or either change in intracellular fluid inside the change. Inside the change, what the fluid is present, water, is going to be changed. Yeah, it's happened. And what is the fluid present outside the cell is going to be changed. It's also happened. Now in next case, osmolarity. Either osmolarity is changed. It means either what is the amount of extracellular fluid inside the solute particles of this extracellular fluid is going to be changed, or it's also happen in intracellular fluid, what is the solute particles is present is also going to be changed, maybe increase or decrease. It is going to be increase the concentration or decrease the concentration of that solution. So these 4 terms are going to define all the different parts of the Darrow-Yannet diagram. So in first case we are going to see the when the normal, on the normal condition of saline infusion. Saline infusion, we are going to infuse the saline. So what happened in this case, suppose that you can see the first picture here. You can see when we are going to infuse the saline, you can see what happened in the first case. Increase in extracellular volume. Okay, in the when we are going to infuse the saline, there is increase in extracellular fluid. Now you can imagine, suppose that this is the cell, intracellular fluid, and this is the extracellular fluid, and this extracellular fluid is going to be increased here like this much. So this increasement of extracellular fluid here in the first case, we are going to see 4 cases. In first case, extracellular fluid is going to increase, and there is a no change. You can see there is a no other changes in the, there is a no any changes in extracellular fluid, intracellular fluid, or osmolarity. No change in osmolarity means either intracellular or extracellular osmolarity is not be changed. Same, there is a no change in extracellular fluid and intracellular fluid. There is also not going to change in the extracellular, intracellular osmolarity. You can see here in this picture, I already told you that this is the x-axis or y-axis. Basically it is the y-axis, and this one is the x-axis. And x-axis what is measuring? that is volume. Volume measured in liters here. So liter, and here y-axis, what is measuring here? That is osmolarity, already told you. So this is the intracellular fluid and this is the extracellular fluid. Here what is increased in this picture? In this whole compartment, what is increased here? You can see clearly in this picture. Here is something increasing. Outside of this, you can see this is the whole compartment here. Wait a minute. So this is the compartment, and you can see the compartment somehow is going to increase here. This increment of compartment basically in the extracellular fluid, you can see this extracellular fluid is going to increase, but the intracellular fluid is normal. It's not going to increase either here, no, either here, no, anywhere there is no any increment. So there is a normal condition of what? Intracellular fluid. It means the intracellular fluid is going to be normal. And what is the normal inside intracellular fluid? Their concentration will be normal. Their volume, first point, their volume will be normal, either intracellular or extracellular. The extracellular volume will be increased here, but the intracellular volume will be normal. Next, osmolarity. Osmolarity will be same. In the osmolarity, this direction move. There is any increment? No. There is any increment? No. It means osmolarity will be same. The same osmolarity, intracellular volume will be same. What is only change? Extracellular fluid. So in this case, in extracellular fluid, which cations or anions will be higher in amount? Now you tell me. That is sodium chloride. You know, this sodium chloride is basically infuses in his body. That is, in the case of when we are going to infuse the sodium chloride is the isotonic solution. In the case of shock, if any patient suffer from the shock, you can infuse this saline. So when we are going to infuse it in the shock condition, and the fluid administered is isotonic solution. Isotonic because we are just adding the water here, not going to add any solid particles or the concentration here. In the next case number 2, we are going to see here, that is in this case extracellular fluid will be decreased. Extracellular fluid, it means it will going to be decreased here, and in next case you can see rest all the components are unchanged. It means what is unchanged? Intracellular volume will be normal. Osmolarity of the extracellular and intracellular will be normal. So see in this case, osmolarity in this section, that is in y-axis. There is any change? No. Any change in both intracellular and extracellular compartment? No. Now we are moving to the X compartment. Intracellular fluid is normal. What happened to the extracellular fluid? See carefully. There is a further decrease. In previous one increased, here decrease. Everything will be decreased. Inside it, here is the decrease in extracellular fluid. It means what? The person which having, there is a loss of what? The person having loss of something, and that is extracellular fluid. And extracellular fluid when is going to loss? The person is having extracellular fluid is lost in the case of diarrhea. You can imagine when the person is lost sodium chloride in the case of diarrhea. So you have to infuse loss of sodium chloride or the isotonic solution. In what cases? Dehydration. So this is the second case. Now we are going to see third. Let me clear this. Third one, that is we can see extracellular fluid osmolarity is increased now on y-axis, and extracellular fluid volume is increased, and intracellular fluid osmolarity is increased. It means osmolarity in both the cases increased. So you can see this picture. You can imagine here. Here is the y-axis. Now you tell me. Intracellular fluid osmolarity increased? Yes, increased. In extracellular fluid osmolarity increased? Yes, increased. Intracellular fluid volume change? Yes, change. Yes, less H2O, less volume. And extracellular fluid? Yeah, there is an increase in concentration, increase in volume. So you can see what are the changes which happen here. there is the intracellular volume is decreased. You can see in the picture also, intracellular volume is going to be decreased. Next, intracellular osmolarity is increased, extracellular osmolarity is increased, extracellular volume is increased. What is the decrease here? Only intracellular volume will be decreased. Intracellular fluid compartment will be decreased in their volume. So when it's going to be decreased, when the person is suffer from the hypertension, why it's happened? You can imagine, when the less amount of H2O is present inside the cell, it means the solute particles, what the solute particles is present inside the cells are gets concentrated, and the concentration of, due to concentrated, this low amount of H2O present inside the cells will be leads to osmolarity will be increased. Next we can see in extracellular compartment what happened, the concentration will be increase because extracellular compartment will increase. So it's happen in the hypertension condition. So it's happen in hypertension condition. Wait a minute. Now next section we are going to see about the fourth part, that is a disease, basically SIADH. We are going to call syndrome of inappropriate antidiuretic hormone. Antidiuretic hormone means this hormone is going to decrease our diuresis. Diuresis is basically urination. So it's going to decrease our urine. It means the urine is something somewhere in our body going to store. They are going to conserve. It means these hormones are going to conserve the water in our body. It means the person is having, what happened when we are conserving the water inside our body, the water concentration, the amount of volume of water is going to be increased basically. So you can see here the water gain. Yeah, it's simple. Antidiuretic hormone is going to do what happened to these patients. There is a antidiuretic hormone ADH level will be increasing, and this ADH, this is also called as vasopressin. This is secreting from the posterior pituitary, or they're also called as neurohypophysis. So this ADH is going to anti-diuresis, means they are going to opposite action of diuresis. So they are going to prevent of uresis, means urination. So there is a conservation of water. Water is increases in our body, and this increasing of concentration of water or the volume of water is leads to the water gain inside our body, and that condition is called as dilution. This water concentration increase in either extracellular fluid, and it leads to the dilution of these solutions. It means what the solute particles are present inside this volume are moving very far away from them. Each molecules are moving far. So there is a dilution is happening. So what happened? This extracellular fluid will be increased, extracellular fluid volume increased, and intracellular fluid volume increased. But what is decreased here? Concentration of the solid particles are moving far away. It means these are particles are going to decrease. The amount of particles are moving very slowly. So the particles of the solute, it means the osmolarity of extracellular either or intracellular will be decreased. Simple. Osmolarity depend on solid particles. We can see here what is decreased. Osmolarity will be decreased in which phase? In this phase, SIADH. We can see this is the fourth. You can see this is the fourth section. Where is third one? Here is the third one. Where is second one? Second one. Here is the first one. These are the four categories you have to know. And this is all about the cellular fluids. And this is also all about the general physiology. Here we finish everything about the general physiology. In next section we are going to see about the different parts of physiology. Like we are going to start maybe neurophysiology or the different types, different parts. We are going to classify the physiology in the different system on the basis of their organs. Suppose adrenal physiology, neurophysiology, or like the urinary system. Like this we are going to digestive physiology. So moving further in this section, so everything will be end from the general physiology, and hope you will study and enjoy with me and R.K Medicos family. So thank you from my side, and hope you will be better. Take care yourself, and thank you, all the best from my side. See you.